Welcome back to another Googan Lab. Today we're going to be talking about two very different baits that actually have a whole lot in common. That being the Dart and the Scout. Let's get into it. At first glance, these baits may seem very different. You've got the Dart, that being a soft plastic lure, new to the Googan baits lineup. And then you've got the Scout, which has been around for quite some time and it's caught many big bass. And this is more or less considered a hard bait. But one thing these baits have in common is the fact that they are super ideal for targeting suspended fish, fish that are chasing bait, and fish that are just looking for a specific action. And in today's Googan Lab, I'm going to be breaking down where to fish this and why, and where to fish this and why. So let's get started with the Dart. This bait comes in many different colors and 3 different sizes. The one I have in my hand right here is the 6-inch version. In order to really fully grasp this bait, you gotta figure out where to fish this. And a couple of ways that I like to fish the Dart is completely weightless and completely weedless. A bait like this is perfect on, like a 4-aught, 3-aught, 5-aught EWG hook, something with heavy wire, because this is a bait that's gonna go so well when fishing over heavy grass, way under brush. This is a bait that's just gonna get into places that the Scout can't. For a bait this big and with this action profile, I like skipping it under docks, getting way up under trees. With the Dart being so flat in shape, you can really launch this thing a good distance and then also get it into places that most anglers aren't going to think to cast. And the cool thing about this too is you've got this weedless slot right here. So you're gonna get in and out of any sort of nastiness that you put this Dart into. If you got fish that are up shallow, feeding on bait, bluegill, shad, crappie, any sort of tiny bait fish, this is where this bait really excels and comes into play. Twitch it, pause it, burn it, work it on the surface, let it sink a little bit, move it slow. This is a bait that is so great for heavy cover, fishing around grass, like weed beds, things like that. This is where usually I'm gonna be throwing a bait like the Dart. We've discussed the Dart and why it's so special in every angler's arsenal. Now it's time to touch on the Scout. This is one of my personal favorite hard baits that we make. This bait has such a strong ability to draw in fish. So the Dart is more of a precise way to fish. You're gonna be getting close to cover, making very accurate cast, whereas the Scout is meant for covering water, drawing in fish, getting the fish to come to you. A lot of big fish have been caught on this bait, and the beauty of this specific lure that I have in my hands is the fact that it suspends. The biggest misconception with jerk baits and rip baits like the Scout is that it's only a cold water tactic, and that's so far from the truth. This is a bait that I literally will fish year round. As long as the bait's there, the water clarity's right, and it just seems like it falls into place, this is a lure that will draw in not only numbers, but big fish too. Unlike the Dart, I'm not gonna be throwing this shallow. I'm gonna be throwing this in anywhere from 7 to 15 feet of water. If I'm seeing suspended fish on my graph or bait that's busting, the first thing I'm gonna grab out of my arsenal is a Scout. And the beauty of this lure is the fact that it suspends. It gives that fish time to react, to make sure if it wants to commit to the lure or not. Fish this at the end of docks, deep drop-offs, around standing timber, anywhere where you think a fish is going to be hiding, not necessarily close to the bottom, but also not necessarily so close to the surface. It is literally one of the most versatile hard baits I personally think we make, and it works good for lakes, creeks, ponds, current, anything of that nature. Just throw this thing around, give it a few twitches, and see what happens. So you've got two absolute workhorses, very similar baits that are meant for twitching and pausing. One specifically for shallower water, grassy situations, heavy cover, and then one that is designated for those suspended, finicky fish. Both very much complement each other and both lures that you should definitely check out. Thank you guys so much for watching yet another Googan Lab. We appreciate the view. Let us know what videos you'd like to see next in the comment section below, and we will catch you guys next time.